Listen, I just want to say I appreciate musical artists, and I know sometimes we take music for granted because people work really hard on their stuff. But I hate that you just can't play stuff. I mean, I get
Right.
it, and I get it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I can't even sing it.
Uh, listen, and you know what's so funny? I was thinking, um, that like when you play music, you know how like things that maybe like Sonic or like it's the um, labels are embedded into the music and Siri can pick up on it, like the embeddedness, not really hear the music, but
Right.
something inside. You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
I
Mhm.
was thinking that, but I've had when we had church before, a musician would play certain songs and YouTube was like, hey, that's somebody else's song. I was like, wow, y'all even know, you know, the system actually picks up on the music,
Right.
not I thought it was always something embedded in the songs or whatever. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's next level. They actually listening. They listening. So
And I
I
don't
say,
know
yeah.
if putting I don't own the rights to this music changes anything or not. I've never tried
But
that.
what's funny, right? At first I was like, that don't work. But I've seen people on Facebook. I've seen DJs. I mean, not like blue check DJs. I'm talking about dudes with followers like I got,
Right.
like DJing straight songs, and they just on there. I'm like, but then if I'm somewhere, I put my phone out, I go live. This joint is like playing anything. My joint is like, you just been muted. What? So I don't. I'm trying to figure out what they do because I've seen people play music, but I don't
Maybe
know
you
if
can
it's
buy a license. I don't know. It's all
maybe
about the money.
maybe they're picking music that doesn't pick. I'm sure there's some music that don't pick up on the system. Like
Now I
I
would love for
remember,
someone to throw in the chat if they ever hear this. How can we play music
how can we play music? Like
without
who?
getting
Tell me,
muted?
is it a is it BMI just stuff or ASCAP?
So I
Those
know
kind of
in
things.
with the church, there's different things that you can do because it's
Okay,
all about the royalties. Are you benefiting from playing this song? Are you making money from playing this song? So
right.
you have to say that there's no I'm not benefiting or anything from this music. And so when Sony hits you with that, you just respond to them, you let them know, and then they'll
Yeah.
let it go.
Right.
But I don't know with all these other songs,
Yeah.
because
I remember I played what did I have? I played like three different pop songs and like back to back on an intro one time, and it only picked up one. Like it picked up the Tribe Called Quest. It was like what's that song? Relax yourself and it'll be so clear. That song, just the
don't
beginning,
sing it.
like
Don't sing it.
a
You get
snippet.
muted. I'm just
Right.
I know.
Right. Snippet. What up? Kaneem, aka Black Moon. Um,
What is the word, my
follow
brothers? You get it back. Come follow
YOLO.
me on a journey to find the next MC. There you go.
so is that who Black Moon is?
Yes.
I've
You don't know
never
Black
heard of
Moon?
Black Moon. I don't think.
You never
Oh,
heard of Black Moon?
Well,
East Coast.
I might have. It's just
They didn't
Nah,
have a lot
you're
of
fine.
hits.
I know. I
yeah.
don't hold you. You're not East Coast. That's like, yeah, that's really like. I mean, I'm sure they had a few bangers that crossed over or went further than New York
In New Jersey.
or the Northeast. But yeah, I get it. I'm not gonna hold that against you. Oh,
He
you
was
know what's
more
so
in the ground.
crazy? He got YOLO. It took me a while. I know you can always Google. I was like, what is YOLO? Rich said, cool hat. Rich said, AI music. AI music. Yeah, yeah, AI. That probably get you in trouble too. You know. Um, so appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. I am your host, AD Walker. Make sure you're sharing. Sharing is caring.
You have a work email.
You said you
Uh-oh.
got some work to do now. Let's
Work,
go.
work, work email.
All
Somebody got to turn that DN. Somebody didn't turn their DND on.
Get your butt to work.
All right,
Trying
we'll
to
get the intro.
run a podcast knowing you're supposed to be at work.
Right.
Just block this time off on that calendar. That's the trick.
Oh man, did y'all hear about the doctor that was now she's in trouble for she would go live during her surgeries, like doctor.
The black doctor. She was
I don't know
black
what
lady?
she looks like. I didn't see her. I just heard it.
Yeah, she was the Cut It Doctor.
Yeah.
She played that song while she be going live. You need to cut it.
Wow.
While she actually doing surgery.
Wow. Because apparently she was
there's a
doing
couple doctors
liposuction,
out there.
and she cut somebody wrong, messed
Oh
them
no,
up.
she got sued. They took her
You should go. Oops.
license away. She can't. And
I don't think she
we
knew.
talking about the same one. I don't know if we're talking about the same one. She
Right,
was over
I'm
there
sure it's more than
in,
one.
She was over there in Clayton County.
Oh, I don't. It didn't say where, but I will say she was, like I said, doing liposuction. She got, in trouble because she cut somebody wrong, and of course they got an infection later. But they realized, of course, she was live during the surgery, and because they're like, not only is she live, but she's talking to the audience and answering questions while she's doing a surgery. Like, I get it. If you do a job enough, you kind of become second nature. But don't you kind of need to pay attention? like,
No. I'm gonna take a break right here to answer some questions.
Right.
This patient here will be okay.
It would be okay.
There's just a little blood dripping out. That's all.
Sorry.
They'll be fine.
That was just
I
a
hope,
little
I
bit.
hope it won't get infected later on, but if it does, she'll just sue me. It'll be all right. I got
to put a disclaimer in the live. I'm not responsible for anything that happens to this patient. Oh man.
Oh shoot, blood squirted in my eye.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
at least if the surgery was like over, like they're in recovery, like we just finished this, blah blah blah, but like something. But during the surgery, yeah, that's wild. That's wild. Nope, wrong button. Nope, that's it.
You're watching the Brothers of Legacy. We don't stand out. We stand up.
Let's go. We don't stand out.
We stand up.
Stand up.
Yeah. Get it.
All right.
Somebody get Larry an MP.
You said what?
I said somebody get Larry an MP. He need the MPC 2000 XL.
He the NPC.
I thought you said an EP.
Yeah, that's what I thought he said too, right?
Yeah.
You need that. You need some
MP.
Fruit Loops.
Give him that MPC
Yeah.
classic right there, or SP12.
I remember the days being in the studio, boy.
And so I'm gonna I had proclaimed today, put it out there. I want to go vegetarian, well, more pescatarian.
Okay.
Only fish.
Yeah, because I love my seafood. So
You don't eat chicken?
I'm starting today. So let's see how it goes. Going cold turkey. Boom.
Oh.
I have spoken.
I think
At least for the next 6 months.
Rollins, Sean and Dr. Rollins have been on. They've been pescatarians for maybe 3 years now. I think it's been about 3 years. I don't know if they
For
if
for Latrice and Sean.
uh-huh.
I know Latrice has been doing it for a while.
Yeah. So yeah,
Oh,
I'm about 100% certain they started together. I'm
okay, if
sure.
they started together, then
It's been a
yeah,
while, right?
it's been a minute.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
They'll pop on and say, "Yep." But
I'm doing it for
there's times and seasons I could do it, but
Right.
the problem happens, and it happens every single time. I run out of options, or I'm hungry and I'm out. Lisa says she's been one over 20 years now. So, but yeah, I run out of options, I guess, and I just get weak.
Well, I got a trip coming up in 2 weeks.
See,
I already
that's the
made.
problem right there.
I
Look,
already proclaimed it though, so I'm gonna have to find my options.
I mean,
I'll save $40 on that steak.
I know Sean says he just go someplace and get fries. Like if he got to get a fast food option, like he would say, I try to go get some fries. Listen, Thomas, I hear you. Sometimes it's like I need some substance.
right.
I need something to hit the bottom of the stomach.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Foundation.
I need to feel it.
At least for the next 6 months, and I'm doing it for discipline.
Okay.
What are you gonna do for protein?
I need to. That's why I was vegetarian. You get protein from fish, but not as much.
Okay. So let me ask you this question.
I need to decrease my protein intake. I need to go from a high protein. Go ahead.
Can you get enough protein from fish, and will you have enough options within fish to continue on? I'm just asking. I want you to prepare your mind for this, because that's where the pitfall, the enemy comes in. Someone walk by, with this big old burger. Hey Larry, how you doing?
I know.
It'll probably be me too.
I don't know if I mentioned before, like one of my biggest weaknesses was just McDonald's and the convenience of it. The speediency of it. I haven't had McDonald's for 3 months now.
Okay.
So I
ain't had bubble guts in 3 months, huh?
Hey.
McDonald's be sitting well in my tum tum. It just
well in mine too. It loves me.
Still,
I'll mess with you.
McDonald's immune. I ain't been off it long enough for it to mess me up.
But yeah, I can do it. I'll be all right.
Okay, I believe in you.
Keep up alive.
It's like I said, it's the discipline, it's conditioning your mind, right? A lot of what we do is just about conditioning our minds not to do something, because all of us may have had other unhealthy habits that we just had to condition in our minds not to do anymore. Like gotta find some reasoning in your mind, like this ain't good, and kind of imagine what it's really doing to you. Like, oh, I can stay away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And just conditioning your mind to change some things. So yeah, it will be challenging, especially when you're hungry and options get low, and like I said, in your mind, you just go get some fries, or you're like, okay, I can get that at least tide me over. Or you can do the Burger King, the rock and roll fast. Yeah, listen, I don't know what it is about Burger King, and I don't know who eats Burger King, but going to Burger King seems like it's slow food now. It seems like it takes forever. And in my area, in some of the areas I've been in, I don't know what I think maybe they're slow, so they're making everything like fresh in a way. You know what I'm saying? Like
no.
So or
they just
cooking
slow because of where you at. That's
listen, and I thought that. I promise you,
you been to Alfredo lately? Burger King?
You said what?
I said you've been to Burger King in Alfredo lately?
You know what? I'm gonna make sure when I'm in the area, I'm gonna make sure I go, Thomas. I'm like, Thomas, I'm here. Listen, because Burger King has not been busy. Any Burger King I've seen, it is not busy. It's like maybe one other car in front of me, and that's the busiest I see. Most of them are empty. You go there, I'm like, why? There's nobody here. Why is this taking so long? I'm telling you. And we got a fresh new Burger King. It was an old one. They knocked the joker down. They built up a new one. yo, it's still slow. Just
Yeah.
slow. And you're like, what
That
is
Burger King by my house, man. That Burger King be jumping, boy. That line be all the way out in the street.
wow.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
why
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
go.
Maybe they gotten
Like,
better. I don't know.
right.
I
Like,
haven't been to Burger
yeah,
King in so long. I can't even tell you. So
yeah.
Nah, I'd rather have Burger King than McDonald's any day.
You said you take Burger King over McDonald's?
Yeah, yeah.
I got you. You right. You have a right to your opinion.
Oh yeah. Nah,
No.
it's just some the fries at
He's
McDonald's
nasty.
ain't the same. I don't like Burger King fries either though, but they buy neck and neck Burger King fries and McDonald's fries. So
I just want to know, how did they sneak in making a large fry $3 and some change?
which one? Both
Right.
of them? You talking about both of them?
No, I know McDonald's has. I haven't been to Burger King in a minute, so
Oh yeah.
You said, how
They-
they
$3
sneak in
and
making-
change for a fry. I'm like, what happened? That used to be a whole meal.
yeah,
I mean,
the drinks. That's great.
I saw one of them nostalgia posts on Facebook where you got the Big Mac meal, all of it, fry and drink for $2.99.
$2.99. That used to be a whole meal.
Oh,
Man, you can supersize it for 39 cents.
Right. Now
Like,
you go get a meal at one of these spots. It's $10 easy.
Man, I was
That's
surprised to see
the
that
starting
at-
point.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that at McDonald's myself. Like you got the lowest combo on the menu is $7.
right.
The lowest,
See,
and
but
that
you
might
broke it
be
down.
a
Like you said, cost,
cheeseburger.
wages, supplies, inflation, food
Supplies.
inflation.
Um,
inflation. Everything is inflation. They see, I'm losing trust again. AD,
right, so-
I'm losing that trust we were talking about yesterday.
so here's the thing: they can say it's
Inflation
all
or COVID.
inflation and everything else, but when you're turning out the highest profits ever, it's
Right.
all about the profit margin.
Right,
and,
right.
and
Yeah,
the
I got it. Yeah.
and everything else.
I struggle
Don't
with that. I
call it
need,
inflation. Don't call it this. It's profit margin. Gas companies are like, oh, well, we need to do this, we need to do that, but they're turning out, gas prices
record
are
profits.
high,
You have
and record profits every
Right.
time. But
Yo.
they're making it inflationary costs. We have to put this additive in the gas. We have to do all this
Right.
and that. And next thing you know, record profits
Mhm.
on top of
Right.
record profits, on
See,
top of
that-
record profits,
Right.
and
How, Sway?
dividends and
How?
all these other things. And yeah, don't miss me with that.
See that? So if I didn't make my answer clear yesterday, money.
You said
Money. Society is moved by money, not trust.
It's trust, man. It's trust. I'm telling you, trust is the foundation. It's
Oh yeah, Richard, I could cook. I cook a lot, but
Cook a lot,
every now
yeah,
and then you gotta have that fast food. I got kids, so kids always want that fast food. They don't want
They're
daddy's.
looking forward to it.
Yeah,
They look good
Daddy's
for that
burgers are
fast
good.
food.
They don't want the food, they want the toy that come in that Happy Meal.
oh, they're beyond toys and Happy Meals right now. They want 3 or 4 cheeseburgers,
Right.
big fried. I'm like, dude, you guys are eating too much.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's where the inflation comes in.
Right.
Their stomachs are getting bigger.
Yes.
Everything
Let's talk
is
about
weird.
that. Let's talk about that. Because mine are, it's crazy when yours get to the point where their meals, the kid, they're not kid meals anymore. Yeah, it's for, it's me, my wife, and my 2 children, but now it's 4 adults.
Right.
I'm eating 4 adults. I'm
Yeah.
not feeding 2
You're not
adults and
eating
2
like
kids. I'm
kids
feeding
no more.
4 adults. Yeah. So
And
There you
what
go.
was cool about like
teenagers is no joke.
back in the days, it was cool getting my oldest son or my kids to like stuff like sushi, giving them a little culture that I didn't have when I was younger, right? When I was their age, I didn't have this, not at all. So I'm like, you know what? Get you some culture,
See what you
eat
did?
some of this food and eat some of
Oh,
that food. Now, when it's like, your time to choose meals, they're like, oh, I want to go to this sushi spot over here that has this and that. I'm like,
Right.
Dang. you done raised that taste buds too high.
man, I need to slap them taste. But look, I'm a shove some McDonald's down their throat.
Come on,
Get
take
them
this Big Mac.
get them addicted to that, and all they think about is McDonald's. But it's just crazy. Like your food bills go up, your going out bills go up. It's like that's where the true inflation is, right there.
Right. Sam said, yeah. See, she started it with my daughter. She said, now I have to share everything. My daughter don't play everything. Everything. She got on crabs. She got on sushi. Yes. So my daughter looked forward to it. Let's get Ryan McCory in the building. Good morning, sir.
All right.
Good morning.
Give my tardies, even though that's normal.
Rod said wages, inflation, yachts, private jets. They got to move around, brother. How you think they're going to get around without the private jet?
Oh, no. See, it goes back to trickle-down economics.
It did. Hold on. I'm going to give you, who said it? Was it Trump? Somebody. If we don't buy who you think builds the private jets? Who you think is servicing the private jets? Regular people. That's where the trickle down comes from, brother.
Bunch of bull.
Listen,
if it's trickling down that way, then we wouldn't have all these debates about how much people should be paid.
Right.
It is not trickling down. It is trickling into my pocket.
I heard somebody say something about Donald Trump.
Can't go an episode without saying his name.
I'm just saying. He said more records. I know y'all are abreast of the ever-changing episodes of the Trump saga, but I have been keeping notes.
What's going on lately with the saga?
Well,
I don't keep up on that madness.
Well, now the Department of Justice has decided that Donald Trump is no longer immune or has immunity of certain statements that he made as president of the United States.
Okay.
And they may call into question for prosecuting him for those actions that he did in Georgia during the election, for calling for those 11,000 and some odd votes.
Do something about it. I got you. I remember.
Not only will he be going to court about Georgia, about the votes, but now look like he'll be getting indicted in a federal court about the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the hot seat is just getting warmer and warmer.
So now instead of the campaign trail, he's just gonna be on the court trail, being able to talk more and be on TV more. That's good. That's very good.
He's trying to postpone a couple of trials till later on next year, but they're trying to get him done and wrapped up before 2024.
I got you. He's trying to go on his tour.
He's going to go from fake news to fake court.
The court system. Hey, Thomas, look, this is your opportunity. The court system sucks. Something's wrong with our justice system.
Yeah.
Like, you know what, trouble? You're right. You're right.
Listen,
you need to fix that.
He's trying to push this past the election so he can go ahead and pardon himself. That's all.
So when he wins,
he'll be like, first name
of pardon. He's
he'll pardon himself.
Yeah. Immunity.
20 years later, when our kids is in their history class doing American history, they're gonna be learning all about that. First president.
I always wonder what all of this
I think he'll be a convicted felon come Christmas time. So he won't even be
okay. Kaneem, if he is going to be a convicted felon, it won't be Christmas because justice don't move that fast.
Not for people like you. You're right. You're right.
Justice don't move that fast. I'm just saying.
There's a lot of court cases that he gotta attend.
And that man got money. He can just push stuff off. He don't even need to worry about it. Look, go and file this frivolous motion.
Right.
Have them go consider this. Have them.
And then he ain't got to show up everywhere.
The whole system, bog down the system.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't know if y'all been paying attention to his attorneys. They've been falling off left and right, quitting and getting indicted.
But then that's another method of getting more time. I need to get counsel in place. I need to now redo my counsel and all this other stuff.
Now,
Those
I
are
will say they
moves
stopped
that,
him from trying to get new lawyers to slow things down. Now they stopped that trick. They said, you know what? Stop playing this game. You got to
Right.
just whoever you got, you got.
There's always the court appointed.
but I will say this: the federal
That's
government
the
don't
point.
play. When they usually have a case, they pretty much know they could prosecute it.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I think they got like a 98% conviction rate.
Yeah, so
They don't let you go.
but it can still be
100%.
put off. This is different too when you start thinking about a former president and it's and somebody who's super rich. They can just play the system for a while, but again,
Super rich.
even if he is convicted or even if he does go to trial or whatever, you won't have it done by Christmas. That's too far.
I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll
I mean, he'll be president by then. So.
Listen, I was low on the totem pole, and it still took a year and a half for them to get me through the system.
And Thomas couldn't put any stops to this stuff. He could slow nothing down.
He tried to get you out the way though.
And he's free.
It's a machine that's trying to get Donald Trump locked up. It ain't just the average Joe fresh off the street somewhere and off Memorial Drive. It's a machine that is just like a locomotive trying to get him locked up. Just like you talking about, he trying to stay
right.
free.
So they got to make sure they got everything in place because
they only get one shot.
His lawyers and everybody else, they're checking.
Yeah,
bro,
they're looking for the loophole. All these cases that he got against him, I'm sure they all communicate with each other. I'm gonna get this. You can use this. Hey, I got this going on. So once I get him on this, everything that you say in this, we can use over here. Man, they finna railroad, you know.
I promise you, it's gonna fall apart.
They're gonna be, you know.
I promise you, it's gonna fall apart.
Okay.
It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like the movies you watch, you get all hyped up, and they just come out free. You like what? What? How are they not guilty? He had the knife in his hand. What?
Hey, when they get that star witness, your boy Bannon and Giuliani, the flip, it's gonna be a wrap.
Oh, when they get Giuliani to flip,
yeah, Giuliani,
it'll be a wrap.
It's gonna be a wrap.
You better, you might as well.
Man, I'm too old to go to prison. I might got 10, 15 years left. I might got 10. I'm not gonna do 10 years in prison for you. When I get off scot-free, come on now.
Like I said, if this was Trump prior to being a president, I'd be like, I got you, because money can only get you so far. But when you're a former president, there's a certain level of knowledge, connection that exceeds anything.
See, so that's why you give him. That's why you give him all this grace, man. That's the reason why.
I'm just telling you.
That's the reason why they're going out
American way.
He disrespected the
He's had the highest office.
He can still be found guilty. He can still be found guilty and not spend a day in prison in jail.
He gonna get them handcuffs.
He's gonna get the handcuffs.
He gonna get them handcuffs.
He's
All right.
not getting them handcuffs. They put handcuffs on.
I don't know. Nah, correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm gonna have to start looking up Trump again because I don't have time right now. But I'll look him up.
All right. I know we like way off course, guys. I know. I apologize. We're supposed to talk about walls and bridges and building connections and all of that.
Good stuff. The wall.
All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Trump then ran to a wall, and you say he got a bridge to get free.
There you go. All right. Now go ahead, AD.
Oh man. So listen, we appreciate you guys for being here again with the Brothers of Legacy. I don't know. I kind of wanted to. I see a lot of posts Let's see. Oh gosh. Okay, let's get this. Let's see. Rod says this dude has classified docs right before they put the cuffs on. He's going to pull out the manila folder and ask folks right to think again. To think again.
I got a folder right now.
Think again. Oh, his only way out is to decline to run ever again. Right. Now that true. Because if one day, if all charges are dropped, the next moment you're gonna hear him stop running. That is true. That's what all of this is for.
Nah, too late for that.
Stop him from. They're not trying to lock him up. They want
Too
him
late
not
for
to
that.
run. They want him to disappear.
Too
And
late for that.
I'll say they, like the Dems and the Republicans. Some. Yeah, I just need you to disappear. Just go.
Nah, the oath keepers and all them cats going to prison, all of they all finna drop a dime on Trump. Everybody that whoever meant something to Trump, he crossed them all. Why would they be loyal to him? Anyway, bridges and walls, my brother.
But I stand with Kareem. You know what, Sam? Don't do that. Don't do that. I just
And I stand with you.
right, wrong, and indifferent.
I stand with you, sister. Yeah.
Listen, this whole solidarity and unity, this is not what we do. This is a wall. We build walls on that.
Hey. Your wife know what she hear, the truth. The truth is what your wife heard.
The truth.
Larry's building this brick wall over there.
You building a
We
brick
trying
wall.
to hear all this.
So I've been watching a lot of like internet posts about that we talk about cutoff or not staying connected to those they talk about toxic, but do you find yourself wanting to build relationships or isolate yourself more? I know for me, and I've talked about this before, like a long time, as much as I probably wanted to build relationships, sometimes it can be challenging, because we know building relationships take work all the way around. It's a give and take effort of conversations and staying connected, and even simple texts like, "Hey, how you doing?" And do we find ourselves trying to, because building bridges and connecting with each other kind of makes you better. And since I've connected with a lot of you guys, it has made me better. Just hold me accountable. And we've talked about being held accountable, especially in a group setting, like even with Larry and the workouts. It's like it's different when you're doing it by yourself. It's like, I'm gonna take this day off. But when there's other people involved, it's like, I gotta go. I can't not miss. I gotta show up. Because I talk about even here. You guys push me. When it's a struggle to come on, it's like, well, these guys come on, they sacrifice their time. I gotta make time. I gotta come on. And it holds me accountable to be consistent. And do you find that, so let me ask you this. I know Kaneem, before he starts talking, you always talk about me in my soliloquies. Do you find yourself trying to connect more, or do you find yourself trying to be more isolated? Especially the older we get, are you trying to connect more, or have you always connected throughout your life? Always felt like I need to find some friends or connect with others.
When you start asking, have you connected throughout your life? I think there's two different times of understanding for me. One is the years that I didn't trust anybody, built walls.
Okay.
And there's this, when you don't have trustworthy people around you, or you feel like you're not trustworthy, you build walls because you want to make sure you're protecting yourself. You want to feel like that I can't have anybody have access to me, or I can be vulnerable. I don't want to be vulnerable. But when you're, the second part of my life, it's more like building bridges where you're allowing access to people, and you're also gaining access to people. And so those are some of the things that you start to look at the value of people. And so when you start seeing the value of people, you can build walls and miss out on something, or you can build bridges and realize that there are people around you that have your best interests at hand. But when I think about trust and all these other things, there's a motto I have. I trust people right off the top. And then I watch you. I trust with my eyes open, literally, because I would expect people to do that for me. Trust with your eyes open. And then as I'm watching you, you'll show me your true colors. And that will still allow me to trust you. It'll trust me to either you're going to do me right or I trust you to do me wrong. It's one or the other. But by giving trust first, it builds bridges. And I find that, the connections that are made from building bridges is so much more beneficial than building a wall.
That's good. That's good. Feel free to jump in. Anyway.
Not a whole lot to add to that. I mean, I think that
I constantly walk around with a wall built around me. I walk in a box. I don't like to talk to anybody.
I can imagine you walking out the house, and if there's someone there, hey, come here, let's talk.
Right.
Yeah. So no. So the way I do it is I always try to, and even more now since the stroke, is make sure that every interaction that I have with anybody is impressionable.
Right.
Where that regardless of what happens to me, I'll be remembered in a good light, and that's what so yeah, I'm about building bridges in different kind of ways. I have yes, I had a wall built, or someone built the wall on me, and for no reason at all, and I was really like, I shoot. You guys know I shoot amateur pool. One of the guys who was my teammate, and he completely shut down on me and didn't talk to me, right? And in the pool circuit that we're in, we were the only two. If you get what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right. So I'm like, now we can't be the ones not talking to each other. It's gonna be noticeable, right? And see, so that hurt me, and I kept trying to extend olive branches, go up to him, try to shake his hand, and he blatantly wouldn't do it, and everything. And this is like, all right, because kind of like that seed, that we were talking about the other day, Brian. I just kept trying, and then at one point, I was just like, I actually gave up. I didn't water the seed anymore. I did give up or whatever, but I would still talk about it over and over again. And my wife, I'm like, yo, I don't know why. Like, I didn't do anything,
Right.
And eventually he came around, apologized. He was going through something, and he used me as his scapegoat. But the wall came down between the two, and now, every time I see me, we had the biggest laugh. So I'm pro bridge at all times or whatever. You can have access to me as often as you like, as often as I still walk this planet. Definitely pro.
I mean, that's good. I mean, I think about stuff like that. Like, would somebody continuously try to just like, bump you? Like, I don't want to do it, and I think that's a big one as well. As someone's going through something but not expressing it, it's like, how long do you try to hang in there with your relationship? I guess it depends. I guess how long you've known them. I guess everyone goes through, is this really worth it? We share with our spouse, and their response like, is it worth it? Is it really worth keep trying?
Even in that, AD, if you know somebody and you build a bridge toward them and they haven't burned the bridge down, the bridge is still always there. That's why they say never burn a bridge, because you never know if you have to cross it again, to get back to a place. So, when you build bridges, the bridge is always there. You just need to do a little maintenance on it. And I think, as long as people ain't coming in with, C4 and tearing that thing up, you're fine. But, it's when those walls also, though, they're hard to break down because you're in your own world. And when you're in your own world, you're isolated from a lot of people, and so people have to try to find a way into the wall to help you break the wall down to even build the bridge. Is that worth
Right.
it? You know,
Right.
and that's where it starts to be, you know, when people have walls up, those are the challenges. But you can see sometimes the benefit of breaking down walls. You can see the, you know, what we're talking about when it comes to equity and equality in our system today.
Yeah.
Those are the ideas of trying to build, you know, tear down walls and build equity. When we have people who don't understand the struggle that blacks have in America, that we're Americans from African descent, when people can't understand just that language right there, that we're Americans first, and they start to say, well, if you don't like this system, go move wherever, go back to where you came from. I came from here, fool. You know, it's one of those things where, you know, those are the bridges you're trying to build, and those are the walls you're trying to tear down. And so is that worth it? Yeah, it's a fight that will continue on until the bridges are built. But at the same time, when it comes to individuals, sometimes you can walk away from an individual who has walls up that ain't trying to hear what you have to say, and you're just like, you know, keep it moving.
Right.
Even Jesus said, you know, wipe the dust off and keep it moving.
No doubt. No doubt. Let's see.
Just had to use Jesus, didn't you? Just had to use Jesus.
Hey, it's gospel.
Oh, Richard says, when you're young, you don't need anyone. When you're older in wisdom, you know you need supportive networks and people. Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I even had this this I don't understand it, and I'm about to just give up. Pool. This is a recent thing, and it was this couple weeks ago. I came in and I was showing love to the entire bar. I didn't shake hands. I gave everyone a hug. Everyone, even the wait staff, right? And one of the guys was like, the next week, he's like, hey, Larry, man, everything's all right with you? He was like, you came in here. Actually, I was like, hey, I was trying to just show some love to everybody. You know, I'm actually wearing a shirt that says show some love. Right? I was like, sometimes we just gotta. Hey, I had bad news today, but I'm not letting the bad news affect me, and I'm just going to show love to everyone here or whatever, right? And he was just like, you know, I said, man, I greet everybody when I come in. You know, I say hi because I'm sure when I have an opportunity to do that again, right? And now this one waitress, she stopped serving me since.
Stop serving you.
Just went on and like to the point where the other day she sat with her. Yeah, and I felt it too. Like after on Tuesday, she actually sat next to me because I actually distanced myself. I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going to go on, and she actually sat next to me and talked to her boyfriend with her back to me while her boyfriend was talking to me. So I was like, okay, this is obvious. I was like, maybe, you know, that was too much love there or whatever. You know, my Cambrian stare was overpowerful, you know. So,
you know, since COVID, there's a lot of people who've changed from, you know, the interactions that we do. And you start thinking about COVID built walls.
Right.
Literally.
Right.
Everybody behind walls and everything. This platform we're on right now is a product of a bridge building effort to get people back connected because of COVID. Yes. And, you know, when you start thinking about all the Zooms, the StreamYards, and all the other things that are now, you know, popular because of COVID, these were bridge building efforts to combat, you know, the walls that are being built. But there's a lot of people that are still in those walls. There's a lot of people that don't like to interact the same way anymore. And they, you know, they're the people who are, I mean, it was a tough time. It was a really tough time, especially in the beginning when everybody was just dying. And and so I love what Jeff just said. The introverts were in heaven during COVID. But then I was just about to say, that's the personality of people, though. Some people can, you know, want to be around people. And so they take advantage of opportunities like StreamYard and Zoom and everything else. Some people don't. they're just like, man, let me give me my little remote and let me go watch Lifetime channel or whatever. Give me a cup of tea. I'm good.
Well, see, so I mentioned before, like I have two modes. I'm an ambivert, right? And so sometimes I can be, outgoing, and sometimes I love to just live right in my space, and I actually go into my box and just have fun up here. So going to, I prefer a hug over a handshake because of COVID, right? But it wasn't even like a flirty hug. It was like a side hug.
The side,
It was a side hug.
It was a church hug.
Yeah, it was a church hug.
What do you think, Kaneem? 2 seconds? 3 seconds?
I got a whole protocol for hugging, so I ain't worried about it. I already broke mine down. Y'all know the routine, so
So not to climb both. I can't. All right. So how you guys, Ryan? Let me get you in there because I saw you trying to jump in there a little bit. So what's your feeling about the bridge and wall building?
Well, I go back to what Thomas said earlier, and I'm going to say it a different way. I think in the beginning, everyone starts with an A, and it's up to you to keep it,
Right.
Oh, wow.
You go to school on the first day, your teacher says, today, everybody has an A. Now your responsibility is to maintain it. So when it comes to relationships, for me, in the beginning, you begin with an A. And it's just, and Thomas, you basically said it a different way. Then I watch. Then we go through the experience, and then it's up to you to maintain it. And that's really how it is. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to walk into a room of people and try to work the room. But I am the kind of person that you'll know that I was in there through conversation. That's really it for me in terms of bridges. I think, and to your earlier point, relationships do evolve. They change because seasons change.
Right.
And I think what we do is we mistake a changing of season and make it an art.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's a behavioral change, but nothing was done negatively to you. But because the behavior changed, maybe we don't talk as much, or maybe, you're spending more time over here in this area with someone else that used to be my time. You get offended, and that can create an art. But I love what the scripture says in the book of Matthew. It talks about bringing your gift to the altar. When you take your gift to the altar and remember that there's an ought with you and your brother, leave your gift at the altar and go be reconciled, right? What I try to get people to recognize, what I say to people is this: if I've wronged you, say something, because I'm not sure if I'm aware that I did. And a lot of us go our separate ways and don't even realize we offended somebody because you don't have the courage to say it to them. And so we have to be careful about those things. I think we're living in an increased state of sensitivity in this world. I think social media has contributed to it. So we can find a whole lot of more problems with people today than you could 30, 40 years ago. Things you got over 30, 40 years ago are a struggle today. So there's an increased level of sensitivity, but there's also an increased level of brutality when it comes to how we interact with each other. We're desensitized when it comes to our treatment of each other, but we're overly sensitive when it comes to how we're being treated. So,
what's interesting about that, Brian, is when you're talking about social media and how much it contributed to that, we take things so negative off the top. It's hard for things to go positive. If you send me a text message and I don't respond, then all the negative thoughts come back. To me, it's like, and I think for us growing up, and for me personally, those things aren't big deals.
Yeah.
We make a big deal out of small things, mountain out of molehills, and a lot of times that sensitivity that you're talking about, you start to think in your head and you add that sensitivity and it creates a wall. It creates something that's not even there because people lost the art of communicating. Right. And when we do communicate, if we say something that you don't agree with, people's feelings get hurt.
Right.
We were growing up, we used to talk about each other on purpose.
Right.
And call it joking.
And we called it joning.
we call it joning, but I mean you call it all kinds of bagging, all this other stuff, right? But we used to say some of the harshest stuff to you that was true, and laugh it off, and laugh it off, you know.
Heart
And our feelings got hurt, but we were okay.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh,
we used
man.
to slap box, and our feelings get hurt, and we were okay. We used to do some of the wildest stuff, and that's where I think, you know, the difference in you know, are we still of that old school mindset, or are we starting to adapt to this new way that things are, right? And a lot of times I see people adapting to just the narrative of the day, and it ends up being feelings hurt, all kinds of things. And so to me, it's like sometimes we got to understand what it means to just, you know, that everything isn't something that's against us. Everything isn't a slight against us. We don't have to build walls all the time because something didn't work the way we thought it should work, you know, or something didn't happen the way I thought it should happen.
Right.
We have to, you know, so it's important for us to realize that everything isn't a personal attack.
True.
Right.
Yeah.
And what you seems like you're getting at, and I'm gonna summarize it in two words.
Two words.
Cancel culture.
Ooh, that's good.
Right?
Right.
That's what happens. It's that whole cancel culture. Someone says something, they get in their feelings, and then they say, "Oh, this person." They start a whole movement to cancel this one person instead of addressing the issue, talking it out, and like, okay, you know, okay, that kind of hurt my feelings a little bit, but what were you trying to say? You know, could you do it differently or whatever? And then keep moving. Nah, I won't do it.
Don't
Should
do
I
it.
do it? Should I do it?
Do it.
Should I
Do it.
Do it.
Don't get us canceled, bro.
I'm gonna get canceled. It was what's the guy from that cop show back in the day where they was in the jazz bar at the end?
Oh Lord.
So what? The cop show back in the day, what?
The cop show from back in the day when at the end it was always in the jazz club. It was in there.
Oh, New York Undercover.
New York Undercover. What was his name?
I know who you're talking about.
Malik
you're talking
Yoba.
about Malik Yoba? Yeah.
No, Malik Yoba. Yeah, Malik Yoba. So he was on some show, and
what did he say?
They were talking about pronouns.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
He was jacking it all. He was doing his best, and he was jacking it all up. And they were correcting the heck out of him, right? and they were ready to cancel him right there on air.
Right.
You know, it's like, come on, guys. Like, look at this guy, what generation he's from. Right. We didn't grow up with these pronouns. We had 2 or 3.
Right.
Him, her, and it.
Yeah. Right. You know, was that the show where he had the trans people on there and they're correcting him? I didn't know that was Malik Yoba. I saw that clip. And it was so interesting to see how he couldn't say a word, and it was like, you're saying it wrong, you're doing it wrong, and it's like, it's almost as if, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if you want us to change the language that we've learned all our life to fit into a culture we have no clue of.
No clue.
And again, will we get some understanding? Yeah, but can you get some understanding for us also? See, everything. The one thing I don't like about that culture and cancel culture and pronouns and everything is that if I say something, there's no understanding. All the understanding needs to come one way, and it's like, no, you need to start understanding. It's like being a Christian. You know, my kid went to school. He had a teacher, and he said, the teacher, he was wearing a shirt that had God on it. He said, my teacher said I can't wear shirts that have God on it. I said, you go to school with that shirt on. If your teacher has anything to say, you just let me know, okay? Because there is no way that you're going to take away the expression of who my child is because you're uncomfortable. And you let all these other, I remember going on Halloween and seeing some of the stuff that I saw on kids' shirts for Halloween.
You let this
getting
go.
to trip off my kid loving God.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
you must be out your. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, let me get back here. The reality is, in culture, again, people think because we stand out and we're different that we're building walls, but in truth, sometimes the actions we do, especially as Christians, is to build. It should be to build bridges. It should not be to build walls. We should not be looking at a person and saying, "Hey, I see your sin before I see the person." That doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah.
Right. He said, "If your mama call you Clay, I'm gonna call you Clay."
But I think, but at the end of the day, I think we need to spend more time building bridges, building relationships, than building walls. Is that work?
That works.
I
Kaneem,
think we should.
Yes, sir.
what you think, man? What's on your brain? And I didn't steal this. This is different. He said, "I'm just putting it up because you ain't put the comment up." She said, "I want you to know AD stole our topic for tonight, and now I'm isolating myself from."
The same topic can be effective on your show, just from the women's perspective.
Yeah.
Women and men think totally different. I feel on that. Y'all perspectives will be a whole lot different.
Well, the correct term is not women anymore. It is.
Don't even go there. We got 30, 45 minutes more show if you start going there.
That's what that guy did. That's what that guy did to Malik Yoba on that show. He was like making him say it correctly. I was like, oh gosh, but my bad. Go ahead, Kadeem.
He was a better man than I was. I would have been in that situation.
Yeah, man, I'm pretty much neutral on the situation. Like I said, bridges, walls. All my walls is for folks who I done had interactions with who either gave me the mortar for it, or I decided that it was best that you stay on the other side. So I don't know. I mean, anywhere I go, man, I can strike up a conversation. So, what do I build a wall or not? Nah, I don't know. I think I leave the other folks to build their own wall. I just decide to help them when I see it being built. That's all.
You said you try to.
I mean, would you call yourself more observant when it comes to walls and bridges and stuff? Like when you meet people, you're more observant first before anything else.
Oh yeah, no doubt. That's why I say. I mean, if I see you trying to build a wall, I'll help you build it. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's all good. Yeah, you build your side, I'm gonna build my side. You know what I'm saying? So if I see you trying to extend the bridge, then I'm gonna help you do that too.
Okay.
So it worked both ways. I'm just like you said though. I like to observe and kind of see exactly where it's leading to. So, but that's just my outlook on it though.
What's sad is that sometimes in places where we used to build bridges, we now build walls because we've been hurt before, or something has happened in that space, or it sounds like something else. And the reality is, some of the bad decisions we make in the past, if we just call them bad decisions, we can move on and continue to build bridges. But a lot of times we call that the norm. We feel like that's the norm of everything. And that sometimes hinders, and I'm, thinking about relationships, for example. Some people were hurt when they were kids in a relationship. I chose this person, they played me, whatever. And you're still a teenager at the time, or low, in your early 20s or whatever. And you get hurt in a relationship, and now you start treating everybody as if they're that person. And and then so now you build walls in relationships, and you definitely want a relationship, but because of that one hurt that we hold on to so much, instead of just calling it bad decision, I chose the wrong person, or whatever it may be, we end up carrying this weight for years and years and years, wondering why my relationships ain't working for me. It's because we're building walls where bridges should be built. You know, if you're going to a new relationship, you should tear walls down, not keep walls up and try to make other people tear them down. And that's that, you know, a lot of times that's a big problem is we build these walls and we expect people to understand that these walls are there. Now you need to come in and figure out how to tear them down. And so, you know, a lot of times it's okay to have walls, but you better have, you know, a destruction plan for those walls sometimes if you're really trying to move forward in life.
Right. True indeed. So we appreciate you guys for being here, rocking with us another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. Make sure you check out the Sisters of Legacy tonight at 8 p.m. as they talk about walls and bridges.
Well, who's Larry Love?
No.
Who's Larry Love 263? I don't know who Larry Love 263 is.
He's gonna be up in the sisters.
All right. So make sure you check that out tonight. If you stay connected to us, text LW into 84576. You'll be able to watch tonight and get the question. So we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Freestyle Friday, same time, same channel. Make sure you are doing the right thing. Stay safe. 988. You or someone you love is having a mental health crisis. Dial 988. And know that we love you. Jesus loves you better. Peace out.
Just love.